Hey everyone, Steve here with Class A. So I'm here to talk about a new constraint that NX has introduced, or Siemens has introduced in NX12. It's great. So it's a sketcher constraint. So I'm going to create my sketch, select my plane, select OK. Now I'm going to come out and draw a couple of circles. For example, let me turn off this continuous auto dimensioning. Some people may like it. I find it's kind of irritating, to tell you the truth. I got to go in there and turn that setting off anyway. It's a good reminder. So I've got these two circles. In the old days, if I wanted to have these things align horizontally, the two center points align horizontally, I would have to draw a line, go from center point to center point, and then I would have to pick that line, make it a construction element, and pick that line again, and make it a horizontal reference, and then I could pick these two circles and say, hey, I want these to be equal radius, and then boom, I would have those circles aligned horizontally. Well, the geniuses over at Siemens in the development department have introduced a new constraint. I'm going to pick the center point, and I'm going to pick this center point. And what you'll notice is when I pick those 2 points is these two horizontal and vertical alignment constraint types. If I say horizontal alignment, you'll notice it puts in these constraints, and these are now horizontally aligned. I'm going to go ahead and draw in a couple more circles because I can. And now I'm going to pick that center point, and this time I'm going to say vertically aligned and go all the way around just like that. So everything is nicely aligned horizontally and vertically. And then here I can just pick all the circles like so and just say equal radius, and then put in your dimension and such. But those horizontal and vertical alignment tools for your center points is really handy. In the old days, again, you'd have to draw in a rectangle or draw on the lines and construction elements and so on and so forth, and it just turned into kind of a hassle having all those extra lines. And it's nice because these constraints, as you can see, if I highlight over the one constraint, you'll see that all of the geometry associated to it highlights. They've done a little bit of work in NX11 and NX12 with how we view our constraints, right? We have a relationship browser. Here, I have the icon pulled out, relationship browser. This used to be show remove constraints. And as you can see, if I pick on, let's say, this object right here, it's going to show that equal radius constraint, and it's going to point out the two arcs. And then it's also going to show the horizontal constraints, or the horizontal alignment constraints, apologize, and the vertical aligned constraints as well, and the geometry associated to it. So this really helps speed things up quite considerably with these two new types of constraints. And I myself, I know for an absolute fact that I'm going to use these a lot, because these alignment methods, something I've always drawn in my sketches, are those construction elements. So use them. They're great. But there's one more thing that I do want to talk about. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line. And this time I do need this line, okay, because I'm going to pick this point, and I'm going to pick this point here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick this, and I'm just going to make this a construction element. With that, I can now pick the center point, say midpoint, to this point here. And I can say coincident. So now I know everything is centered right where I want it, midpoint. Now I'm going to finish this. As I exit out, something else you'll notice inside of this is the actual construction element is now hidden. With, I don't know if it's in 11, but I know for a fact it's in 12. I think it may be in a service pack or a release a pack or something in 11. I'm not exactly sure, but obviously in 12 it exists, where when I go out of the sketch, I have a setting that allows it to automatically hide those construction curves. And it's really nice because if I go into preferences for sketch, here's my sketch preferences. You'll see here, let me turn off my continuous auto dimensioning because I find it, I don't particularly care for it. You also have what's called inactive sketch. This is new. This is the display reference curves, and this is for your reference elements. So if that's turned on, you will see those. If that's turned off, obviously it hides them automatically. So these are a couple of new things that have gone on in the sketch as of recently. Definitely the constraints are new to 12. I think this is an option in a later version of 11. I'm not quite sure. But here you go, making sketch a lot more effective, a lot cleaner. So go for it, enjoy it. One thing that I did find about this is in older sketches that from coming in from 10, that it didn't automatically hide some of those curves. Maybe this is something that we can issue a request to have them fix, so that it's something that can be considered here on out when the sketch gets migrated into 12, that this reference curves actually functions on those. Maybe it's a bug, I don't know, but that's what I've seen. Anyway, hope this helps. If you got something out of the video, like it, share it with some friends, and subscribe to my channel if you're not. Thanks.